And you said at one point you were on 22 different drugs?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, what happens?
all in the same time, like day, week, or are you just taking drug after drug? There was like 200 prostitutes?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere between 130 and 175 probably. We brought some with us. We got some more in Vegas, and it just was, it was completely insane. Just over the top insane.
So you actually paid a woman $10,000 to shave her head so she could buy breast implants?
Correct.
Alrighty, what is happening, people? Corporate Steve here. I don't even know how to do an intro no more because I actually realized from all the videos I posted recently, I don't even do any intros. But 2 uploads this week. I'm basically a YouTuber, bro. Like, can we actually just have a round of applause for my consistency, please? I'm gonna stop. Thank you very much. With that being said, I just saw this video with Jordan Belfort on DJ Vlad's channel. A lot of you guys would know who DJ Vlad is. If not, just get off YouTube because what are you doing? And a lot of you would also know what Off of Wall Street is, or else you can't make it in investment banking, obviously. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, I saw him interviewing with DJ Vlad, and I thought it'd be an interesting interview to react to. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be. Me reacting to the interview with Jordan Belfort on DJ Vlad's channel. It's like a 1 hour long interview. First of all, we're gonna crank that shit up to like 1.5 speed.
Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was a hell of a movie. And from what I understand, it was actually fairly accurate in terms of your life story. So since it's your first time here, I want to start in the very beginning.
Sure.
Bro's got like really good teeth. A lot of rich people, they spend a lot of money on their teeth. Like, just look at that. Some good set of teeth right there.
And you had both parents in the house?
Correct.
They were both accountants?
Correct.
So were they stock investors themselves, or were they strictly accountants?
My parents were the most conservative people that you could ever meet. They were accountants. My father they were both CPAs, in fact, not just accountants. And they were both highly educated, brilliant, and hardworking. But we had no money. And that was something that I think came into my belief system about what it takes to become wealthy, is that you could be brilliant, hardworking, educated, and broke. There's something else involved.
And this is why I didn't try hard in school. Because clearly everyone that's like super, super smart in school are the ones that are going to be broke. Think about it.
But I hit it big when I was about 16, 17, made large amounts of money going down to the local beach, Jones Beach, and selling ices blanket to blanket. I made about $30,000, which in today's dollars is probably $100,000 the first summer I did that. And then about $150,000 in today's dollars the second summer. And I used that money to put myself through school.
Got it.
Different gravy. I don't know how people at 18 years old were like, I mean, I see 18-year-old kids now, like, honestly, just doing bits, and it's just so interesting to me. Like, I see them all over TikTok, because I remember, like, bro, like, when I was 18, like, I was not thinking like that. So it's actually super amazing to see, but clearly, like, people been doing this, and I'm just, like, really a slacker.
Okay, so you went to American University, and you got a degree in biology, of all things?
Yeah, well, again, part of my belief systems were based on the things my parents told me. My mother especially, from the time I was 2.
That's actually mad. I would never have thought he studied biology, considering he was like, the biggest investment banker on Wall Street. But again, like I was telling my sister, because she wants to go into investment banking. She's 18, so I don't even know how she knows that. But she's like worried about like what degree to do. And I was just like, look, like I've seen people that study like classics, English literature, like they're working in finance, in investment banking. So like it honestly doesn't even matter. These firms don't really care. And now, like, apparently you don't even have to go to uni to even get into investment banking. There's like apprenticeships, like, so, but don't quote me on that though, because I just hear about these things. Like, I haven't actually even looked into if they are actually apprenticeships, but I heard. Right.
And I guess when you got to dental school, the professor said, the golden age of dentistry is over. So if you want to make a lot of money, you're in the wrong place.
And I walked out the same day. That was like, I got a gut that boom, whoa, wait a second, like a wake up call. This is a waste of time. And I dropped out, straight away. And then went back a few months later, moved back in with my parents, which was no picnic, I can assure you.
Another lesson, if you want to be rich, you have to drop out. Like, bro, that's literally the only way. Like, if you think about it, every single person that's rich, they dropped out. Bill Gates dropped out. Bro, they all dropped out, bro. That's what it takes to be rich. You gotta drop out. Conventional education is dead.
And right around that time, Black Monday came.
So I actually went down there before Black Monday, and I had to train for about 7, 8 months. And when I finally passed my exam and I got my first day on the phone as a broker, that was Black Monday. And I watched in shock and awe as the market went down 508 points my first day. And
yeah, so Black Monday was like this like historic event that happened like way back when, where like the markets were just like super, super down. Like it was like very, very mad. apparently.
But I showed up the next day for a job and walked in, couldn't believe what I saw. There was, no computers. It was like going back into the caveman days of Wall Street. Kids running around in jeans and sneakers, yelling into their phones, cursing at their customers. They were selling penny stocks. And I didn't even know what a penny stock was, but I was desperate and I took the job.
Okay, and this was Stratton Securities?
No, this was a company called the Investor Center. And that's where I started in the penny stock world. And literally the first call, I broke the record for the largest trade. I used my sales skills. And this is before I invented the system that ultimately became famous around the world for teaching sales people. This is just my own, I was using that system without knowing it, just intuitively saying certain things. And the first month I broke all the records. And about, 3 months, I was swimming in money, making over $100,000 a month. And I was approached to open up my own firm. And that's really what brought me into starting Stratton Securities.
Different gravy. 100K a month. Like at what, 23? Could do some of that. It's so funny though, actually. I was actually talking to a friend about this today, but apparently people in tech sales, they're keeping a very, very deep, dark secret from everyone, because apparently tech sales, I don't know if it's like quite 100K a month, but people are becoming millionaires from tech sales. Like it's an actual thing. Like apparently that's like a next big thing. So super interesting.
My first business was like going to Harvard Business School and then some. And I felt really well prepared my second go around to do everything according to best practices for an upstart business. And I followed that, and then everything started going well. And then I came up with an idea about 2 or 3 months later, which really was the evolution of Stratton Oakmont, which was changing from calling average moms and pops to calling the richest 1%, not selling penny stocks, but selling $5 to $10 stocks. So a better stock, richer people, the richest people in the country. And then to close that gap, I created a system of trading salesmen called the straight line. And that's what allowed all these young kids to close rich people. Before that, they weren't able to. So this sales system, along with this niche I uncovered, was like this 1-2 punch that created Stratton.
What's like very interesting as well about Jordan Belfort, which I think is honestly what's made him successful, is that he talks with so much intensity, just even from like being interviewed. And it's almost like as if he's trying to sell you his story. Like it's super interesting because I don't know, like aside from the fact that, the speed is at 1.5 speed, like I've seen like other interviews and he talks with like the same intensity. Like it's very, very interesting. Like it's almost as if he's trying to just sell you on something every single time.
Deli, I'm sure, listen, I don't know the deli, I've never been there, but I'm sure there's a deli and it's like operating and it's probably worth maybe $500,000, but you get it, so to say, it's a legitimate company. It's not an accurate statement. It's a manipulated stock. In the movie, that was just too complex to explain. So when I get why they did that, I say, the company's, it was legit. That's not true.
Okay, right. So an example of this would be like GameStop. GameStop got pumped up through memes. And even though it's a relatively bad investment, it's a string of, retail stores that are doing badly overall because a meme got behind it and all these people got behind it. It got pumped up to like 10 times, 100 times what it was before. People bailed out of it and then it dropped drastically, right?
That's not a good example. It's a different situation there. That's a really odd.
Like the way Jordan just shut down that example was cheeky because he really listened to it, like digested it, and then said, "Yeah, no, that's a dead example, bro."
Exactly. Okay. So your company starts to take off. And as it's taking off and more people get hired and the money starts rolling in, you start to develop a serious drug problem.
Right.
And you said at one point you were on 22 different drugs?
Yeah.
Like
Well, what happens?
All in the same time, like day, week, or are you just taking drug after drug?
What happens?
That's wild. 22 different drugs, like at once. Like, what? Like, that's just mad.
That same night, after you woke up, there was a safe where you had $1.2 million?
Right. So one of my friends back then, a business associate, Elliot Levine, he's just a total wild man. And he was a huge gambler. And he would play blackjack, like just 7 hands, 10,000 a hand, double downs, and winning or losing a few $1 million in one night. And before that,
different kind of gravy, just 10K, 20K, winning and losing like 1 to 2 million, standard. Something like
right. I mean, the kind of money you were making during that time, I guess in 1 year you made 49 million
in cash. I mean, we made a lot more than that on paper. I mean, stakes in companies valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So, the cash portion was probably 49 and, more or less. And then, we had hundreds of millions in paper.
Right. I guess you were annoyed that you only made 49 because if you made 52, you'd be making $1 million a week.
There you go. Right. Good line from the movie.
Hello. Oh, that's funny. That's actually funny. But like 49 mil, like back then as well, like deep the gravity, like 49 mil back then was probably like 100 mil. And he's even saying that he was making a lot more on paper as well, which is just wild. Like this guy is legitimately a legend, like in terms of like, Wall Street, like legit a guy.
Jet, a huge estate, 2 vacation homes, 6 cars, including a white Ferrari, 3 horses. What am I missing right now?
The 170-foot yacht, maybe?
The 170-foot yacht, Nadine.
Nadine.
The Nadine.
Which I
okay,
sunk.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, a lot of the stuff that,
Bro's like, yeah, make sure you don't forget the yacht. Put that in there, bro.
and you guys start getting involved in IPOs, and Steve Madden was one of the big ones?
Yeah, so the movie's is totally inaccurate in that regard. So in the movie, they have Steve Madden as this big company that we get to take public. And it wasn't true. It was a nothing. It was a startup company that I invested in, and I put all the money up to start it. I owned the vast majority. I owned 85% of the company. Steve was a minority shareholder. He was just getting started. He had one shoe. He was selling out of the trunk of his car, and I gave him that money, and then I sold off part of my holdings, got my original investment back very quickly, and then the company started to grow and grow, and eventually it became a huge company. We took it public. It was doing about probably 15 million. We took it public, and then today it's a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's interesting because in the movie they made it seem like Steve Madden was this big shot company that wanted to use Jordan Belfort's firm to go public. So this is a very interesting perspective. I guess this interview kind of unpacks some of the inaccuracies of the movie from the sounds of it.
Yeah, I actually looked it up. It's still public. It's worth 3.2 billion market cap.
Yeah. So my stake would be worth probably around 2 billion or 1.5 billion.
Right, because you made 22 million in 3 hours when they went public?
Well, that was just on the trading of the stock. Trading it was a hot new issue, Steve Madden. So when it went public, we made about 25 million bucks, somewhere in that range. And but I'm talking about the equity. I actually owned the company itself. So I was on both sides. I was the investment banker that took it public, and I owned the company as well.
Got it. Okay.
Ain't that a conflict of interest or something? Man owned the company and then also made fees from taking it public. That's wild. I'm pretty sure you can't do that in this day and age. But then he probably owned it through a holding entity or something like that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that a sell-side advisory firm can't own a stake in the company that they're advising on taking public. I just know but any investment bankers let me know in the comment section because that's interesting.
I'll tell you something funny. You can actually go to there's a movie called Drop Zone with Wesley Snipes, and I was watching it on TV the other night. My yacht is in the movie. Yeah, actually, it's a great, the 54-minute mark. You see this great thing of my helicopter landing on the back of my boat. It's a great sweeping view of my boat. Very cool.
Now, were you taking the yacht out to go and get your money and not avoid customs or no?
Bro, it's bro is so proud just telling this story. He takes great pride in all of the stuff that's happened. It's just funny because, yeah, a lot of people really suffered from this thing, but...
You were basically, charged with scamming people out of $200 million?
No. So so this is the actual money loss was far, far, far lower. It was probably more around $40 to $50 million. That's the real number.
Just 40, we just lost 40 or 50 million worth of investor money. Nothing much, just 40 to 50 mil.
So 4 years in the federal system means 2 years because you get time off for good behavior and other things. So I ended up serving 22 months and also went to a drug program, which God knows, my case was needed, right? So I did 22 months in jail and I gave...
That's just wild to me. The amount of time you can get for money laundering in the UK is 7 years, 7 or 14 years, I believe it's that. But typically, they'll trial it as a civil case because the FCA doesn't want to take it to actual criminal court. But still, 7 years and 14 years compared to 22 months, for money laundering and losing people's money, securities fraud, all of that. That's, to me, bro had a get out of jail free card, honestly.
And then I got out of jail 22 months later, and then I started writing again from scratch.
Okay, and you get out of prison, 2006?
2005, October 31st.
Okay, so you get out in 2005, and you start to write your real book.
Correct.
And someone at Random House finds out about the book, and they're very interested.
Correct.
You got a $500,000 advance.
Yep.
And a bidding war started for the film.
Bro, can't make this stuff up, bro. Only in America, fam. A man was charged with securities fraud and money laundering, spent 22 months in prison, came out, and then got 500K to write a book. What? What? This is literally, it's so funny in life. They tell you, go to school, study your books, stay on the right side of the law and you're going to be successful. No. This man didn't do that. He dropped out of school, stayed on the wrong side of the law, took a lot of drugs, and he still made it. What?
It changed a lot. I mean, it didn't change nearly as much until a year later. Because what happened was it was very successful, obviously, as you said. And it was a huge uptick in my money making. I was already very wealthy again. I already made a lot of money. I'm going out there and at a big business education, teaching selling, motivational speaking, some consulting, and obviously whatever I was making, I could add a zero onto that after the movie came out. But that was.
And this is why I just think there's a difference between people that are wealthy like there's just this innate skill and ability to make money, because like bro ultimately was like at rock bottom kind of thing, innit? You know what I mean? Like went to jail, all that kind of stuff. But then he come back out now and he's basically just flipped it and made money again. Like, and to me, like I just think that's like something this is a skill like I'm really trying to just like build and get, like the ability to make money, and not making money from working for someone, like the ability to just know how to actually make money. Like the people that get it. But yeah,
I have no doubt that in the next 5 to 10 years, I will make far more money than I've ever made before, because, you know, my business is really, really, you know, just such a great spot. And I'm into a lot of venture capital.
and that again, like obviously I'm not speaking for bro, but I'm speaking for bro. It's that innate ability to just know that I figured out how to make money, regardless of whatever situation I'm in, regardless of whatever business I'm in. I just have this ability to know how to make money. Like Mark Cuban said the same thing as well. Like, you guys, again, if you don't know who Mark Cuban is, then you probably shouldn't be watching the channel. But he talked about how, like, if he was to lose it all, he knows he's gonna make it back somehow, because they figured it out. Like, and to me, that's a long-term skill that I'm just trying to kind of like adopt, to be honest.
But here was my attitude. If I have to pay, let's say by law, I have to pay 25% of my income. That's the most I can pay, right? So I'm just gonna make so much fucking money that I can afford to pay 25% and live whatever life I want. That's always was my attitude from the beginning.
Again, this mindset of, yeah, bet. Okay, you guys want me to pay? I'm just gonna make sure I make a lot of money. Like, I know it seems like I'm really money obsessed. Like, I appreciate that, you know, I want to have wealth long term in it. That's something I just want to have in it. So like, yeah, like I just appreciate like the mindset so much.
So to this day, how much have you actually paid back out of the 110 million?
It doesn't matter what I pay back, because I have no fucking idea. And there's 4 people paying back into the same fund, and the number was far greater than that. But you're reading all fraudulent documents, so let's just I'm not going to get into this because it's a waste of time. Been through it too many times.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, like bro's getting increasingly frustrated. And it seems like Vlad is trying to paint some sort of narrative here, to be honest. Because low-key, high-key, everyone knows Vlad actually works for the feds. Like, we actually just need to clarify this here and then. Like, Vlad deadass works for the feds.
I mean, when you look back on what you went to prison for and what you did and so forth, do you feel like you're completely innocent, you did nothing wrong, and you were targeted? Or can you honestly say, you know, I did certain things that made these people lose millions of dollars, and I feel bad about that?
What did I just say to you a second ago?
You said that the money's not going back to any actual investors.
Before that. Didn't I just say that I deserve to go to jail like 3 times already, and that I made mistakes? Did I just say that?
See, again, Vlad's trying to paint some narrative, like, and Jordan ain't having it. Like, Jordan's not having it.
It's what I did afterwards that's far more interesting, I think.
Fair enough.
And I love that. You need to be the controller of your own narrative, bro. And that's what I meant by, like, when Jordan is on the show, he's talking with so much intensity, almost like he's trying to sell you his story, because that's what he's trying to do. He's not trying to let you control the narrative, bro. You're not going to, like, you know, make up this narrative about me being a bad person. I'm going to tell you I was the bad person, but here's what I did after. Like, literally, he said, this is the interesting part of the story that you should be paying attention to. Like, and I love that so much, because, I mean, you could tell he's like really media trained, but again, like, you know, sales and like media goes hand in hand. Like, you can tell like bro's just really clued up, because he's just not having it.
Well, one of the things that you said is that you feel that college is a scam.
That's a blanket statement. No, I said that I think that college is required for people that need to get certain degrees if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist.
Again, Vlad trying to paint a narrative. I love the way, honestly, aside from all the drama and everything, there's really key things here about like just like handling interviews that you should really take notes from Jordan, because he's like, no, let's add context to that. Here's why I actually said this is the exact statement I made. I love that so much.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting kind of thing, because I went to college. I got a computer science degree at Berkeley. And for a long time, I felt like I'd wasted my time. I should have gone to do something else, you know, after I launched Vlad TV. Years later, I come to realize that all the stuff I learned over the years of actually going to college, I was able to utilize in my business. And I don't think my business would be even nearly as successful if I didn't have the technical background. Because when you look at all the competing businesses and the people who run them, I'm the only one that's actually like a computer programmer that actually understands this stuff. And when you look at, for example, in the long run.
So sorry, Vlad, like, you actually run a YouTube channel doing interviews. Like, please, like, stop. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Stop that, bro. You always trying to talk about yourself, bro. Just interview the goddamn people. Like, stop.
I don't know. I don't know, because I feel that, listen, not everyone who wears a seatbelt gets into a car accident, but the people who do wear a seatbelt usually end up better off when they do get into a car accident, and usually people get into car accidents at some point in their lives.
I mean, I don't think it's a valid analogy in any way whatsoever. I think that number one, you're comparing what college are they going to, what university.
Oh no, this is so funny. Like, Vlad is getting his ass handed to him. Like, look at the way, like, Jordan's just like it's so mad as well, because Jordan is such an active listener in this interview. Like, throughout the interview, I've just been watching bro's expressions. He's like leaning in, like probably trying to digest what someone's saying, and then he just comes back with a response. Like, and it's just so funny, like his reaction to, like, he listened to that analogy, thought about it, and he was just like, nah, that's dead. Like, literally in like split seconds. Like, it's just so funny. Alrighty, guys, and that wraps up the video. I think key takeaways: if you want to be successful, drop out of college, go into investment banking, commit securities fraud. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. This is all jokes. But no, like, I think that was a really interesting interview, just to kind of get insight into a bit more clarity on Jordan Belfort's story. I feel like Jordan Belfort was really trying to sell Vlad on what he thought his interesting story actually was, as opposed to the narrative that Vlad was trying to push. And I just think that's like my biggest takeaway from this, to be honest. But yeah, no value in this video anyways. Like, you know, just a plain old reaction video. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a thing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces.